Hello and welcome to Amethyst Star Crafting. My name is Jane Allmark and I'm a UK independent Stampin' Up demonstrator. And today we're looking at Peaceful Deer, which is a lovely stamp set and coordinating punch. The punch is called Deer Build a Punch, and you can get them both together as a bundle in the new mini catalogue. Lovely stamp set, and we're going to do a card, but not for Christmas just yet. So there's all of these lovely images. As you know, I've used it a few times, but we're going to do something with this deer which has got "Oh What Fun" on it, but we can change it so that it doesn't have that completely on there, and that's what we're going to do. We're also going to create a fun background to start off with, and I am going to use for this, I'm just getting my scrub out, put my punch out of the way. We're going to be using painted poppies. Now, I love the splatters in this one, and I love this background, and we're going to create just a fun background which is going to tie in with what we're doing. So we're going to take this one to start off with, which is a solid piece, and this will do a background for anything you want, and it's going to be quite bright because the colours we're using are quite autumnal, so it's going to be quite an awesome card. Pumpkin pie, cinnamon cider and rich raspberry. So if you look at those colours, they're really quite autumnal. So we're going to start with the pumpkin pie, and we're going to put that with the inset of the flower. We're just going to put that. Now I'm going to put just a piece of scrap under so I don't have to tear off too many pages of mucky paper. So if we put this down here, I'm going to just do the first one sort of in the center. Take this one from this side and this one from this side. Okay, so you've just got a background piece running down, and it might look a bit strange to start off with. However, I think it's going to work quite well. I love creating backgrounds out of stamps and things that we don't necessarily think to use them for, but in this particular instance I think it will work quite well. I'm just putting that one back. So the next one we need to get out is sure I've got that back in the right way, is the larger splodge and the smaller splodge, because that's all we're using in there. So with the larger splodge, we are going to use the cinnamon cider. So with this one we're going to ink it up, and we're going to put it in the middle on here, in the middle on there, turn it round to the other side. I love this cinnamon cider. One on the other side and one on the other side like that, which I think is going to work beautifully. Then we want the rich raspberry, and for this one I'm doing it a bit of a dither because I don't know whether it's going to be strong enough on there, but I think it probably will. So we're going to have this is the rich raspberry, and we're going to put this in. I'm going to put a couple of them in, I think, so one sort of next to the other, because I want the piece to come out so that you've got the different colour tones in there. So all I'm doing is turning it around so that it forms just a little bit more, and then I'm going to take one sort of in on that corner, and I'm going to take it in on all four corners on this. Okay, so that's given a rather sort of abstract background, and on its own it's probably a little bit too busy. However, we're going to be covering a lot of this. And as you know, I use pattern paper, designer series paper, fairly infrequently because I like doing my own backgrounds. So I'm just going to pop this back in. So this was from the Painted Poppy, and these were the two lovely splatters and the inside of the flower. So that's given us the three colours that we're wanting to work with. Okay, so I think I can take this one out of the way for the moment. And I'm going to be putting this onto a background of the rich raspberry. So this is a rather larger piece, but it's just to show you. So that's going to go on there. Then what we need to do is we need to take some pieces to go across here. Now I've used on this the rectangular postage stamp. Let me just get these because I've done a few of these pieces already, and I just wanted to, I will show you each part of it, but I just wanted to put these pieces out of the way because we don't need those at the moment. So and you can see this is how this is copy paper, okay, so rough copy paper. So when I'm planning to do a background, I will always start with something that it doesn't matter that I can throw it away, just to sort of build up colours and tones. Now on this one you can see it runs right the way across and is quite busy. This time I've left it a little bit more open because I think that that will work perfectly. So this is the rectangular stitched, and that's going to go straight down in the center of each one of these. So you've got your splatters up at the top and the bottom. However, what we need to do is these get lost in here at the moment. So we need to get our sponge daubers. This is me getting my sponge daubers out. And we are going to sponge round the back of each one of these. But we're going to do one in each colour, because I'm going to be doing the deer in the colours as well. So let me take a rich raspberry. I think that's probably about rich raspberry. And I'm going to just take this and just sponge round on the postage card part. So the perforated part of the punch, and that will then give me, it will then allow it to stick out a bit. So we need one in cinnamon cider, which is this one. A bit of sticky on there from something. Quite sure what, probably got a bit of a glue dot or maybe something stuck on here. All right, get the cinnamon cider open. And we'll take this one. Which again is a really rather nice rich dark colour. Okay, so that's going to be where the cinnamon cider is going to go. I'm not sure where they're going to go in those positions. And then we've got the rich raspberry. Oh no, we've done rich raspberry, haven't we? We've got the pumpkin pie, which is a nice sort of orange. So let me just take that one and we'll do that with take that round the side, because as I say, that gives us just a little bit of a lift, because I want to have this as a little bit of extra interest on there. So that's sort of going to go in there, and I've got to work out, I'm not quite sure which colours I'm going to do first or which way round, but let me take, we're going to take, now I've done some of the deer, but I'm just going to show you how easy it is to do them. So I can then just do one, where is my deer? Oh, there it is underneath on here, because it's a really rather lovely punch and it works really beautifully. So we need to get the leaping deer, and this is the only one that is a solid stamp. So if you look at these images, these you would need to colour in. This is the only one that's solid, so you don't need to colour it in. It comes out with the silhouette of "Oh What Fun" on it. I'm just putting it on there so it relaxes, so that the legs are going to come out nicely. And then we need to take, let me just have a little, I've got a piece here, haven't I? So I've got a piece of scrap, and I'm going to do it in, let's do it in the rich raspberry, because I rather like that colour. As I said to you, I have done these ones, but I am going to put them in like that. So we just need to stamp it out, and you can see it stamps out beautifully. And then you can use the punch, give it a clean off, because you will find the reddy colours will leave a slight residue on there, or they stain them. Makes no difference at all to the actual stamp, but they do stain it a little bit. So I can take this one off and put it back. We're going to be stamping 3, so you want 1 in each one of the colours, but I've already done the other ones to save just a little bit of time. But if you put the punch in, you can line it up, and what I tend to do is I will try and line up this piece here, which is the underbelly. I try and get that piece in first, because that tends to allow all the other pieces to come in. And then if you just squeeze it slightly, you'll get it on there. I'm going to have to stand up for this one because it's quite a intricate one, to make sure that it all comes out nicely. But you can then see you have, and you also have these lovely little antlers. So you could put antlers on if you wanted to. However, I'm saving these because I'm going to be doing something with some of these pieces. So I'm just saving a pile of them, and I thought that we would have some fun just with those, because I don't think we'd use them on all our cards. Okay, so I'm going to have, this one is going to sit right across on the centre. Let me get the other ones. So I have got, that's the pumpkin pie. So I've stamped and done it with the pumpkin pie. And that's the cinnamon cider. Now, I think for me, I would swap these two around. So I'd have the cinnamon cider first, then I'd have this one in on the center, and I'm going to have that one in down on the side. Okay, so what I can do is I can put these up on dimensionals, or I can put the actual deer up on dimensionals. And what I want to do is to have the front of the foot is going to come just across a little bit, so in on there, so it just comes over the top. Do I stick it down first? I think I'm going to do it in each panel separately. So I wanted to have this as an autumn card. So I looked at Welcoming Woods, and I really love this sentiment. Every season brings its own wonder. So I thought that this would work quite well with the sort of autumnal feel of this card. But I don't want it to be, I want it to cover, I don't want the words "Oh what fun," because for me the "Oh what fun" is really quite Christmassy. So what I thought was, if we take this and then we take a little bit of, here we go, what I need to do is I need to stamp each one of them out in each one of the colours. So we can have every season brings its own wonder in the rich raspberry, and then we're going to do it in the pumpkin pie, so we can put that in. I'm just hoping I can get, I'm sure I will. So that's the pumpkin pie, and then we can have the whatever this colour is, I've forgotten it already, cinnamon cider. Wanted to say Cajun Craze, but it's cinnamon cider. So this is going to have, don't think I'll get all of it on, will I? Yeah, I think. Put it down on there, that's perfect. So I've stamped it 3 times in the 3 colours. And then what I need to do is, I might have actually got that wrong. I need to maybe swip them around a little bit, but we'll have, get my snips. So this is the cinnamon cider. I'm going to swap these ones around only because it works better for this. So I'm going to put this one in first, that one in last, and that one in the middle, which will work fine. Okay, it doesn't really matter which way round, but for the wording it will. So I want every season on this one. So all I'm going to do is to very carefully just fussy cut it round, and I'm not going to be overly precise because I just want it to be down on here. So every season is going to be in the orange. So I'm trying to just get this round, take it off there. So I don't want to leave too much space around it, which is why I'm trying to sort of turn it round and just take this piece in like that. So we would have on here right the way across every season. Okay, now I can do that as we go. So let me just put this one in on here. And we'll put this over the top. So it then looks as if the words are just a pattern. And you can then do it for any time of the year. So that's the every season. So we need to have brings. So I can take this off of here. So this is going to be brings its own. So we'll have the brings. Let's take this up on here. It's a bit of a fussy cutting. Is something you either enjoy or you hate. And I quite enjoy it, or I don't have a problem with it. Little fiddly things can be a little bit tricky, but I don't think they're going to be too bad. So this is going to have brings, and then we'll have its own, because I just want the word wonder on the last one. So that's going to come out like that. Take it up on the top. As I say, these are quite little words, so that they are more fiddly, but they're not too bad. So that's going to have brings its own. So we want the brings its own like that, which will be fine. So the brings has got to come up a little bit. So brings, bit of glue, that's the brings. Then we'll have the its own. And you could do this with all sorts of words, you know, just have a look and see which sentiment you can change around a bit. But as I say, it then takes some of the words off a bit and just makes them sort of a little bit more fun. And then this one is just going to have the word wonder. So I've got this one right down at the bottom. And again, I'm just going to cut it fairly close. Take that off of there so I can just turn around that corner. And round on the end here. There we go. And then that can go just on the top wonder. Because I think deer, you have, well, I'm quite lucky, as I've said to you before, I back onto a 3,000 acre deer park. And so I get to see deer all the time, which I think is really rather lovely. But it's one of those things that, you know, if you don't see deer, then I suppose they are quite difficult. You know, you don't sort of associate them with anything but Christmas. Whereas for me, I associate them with all time of the year. So I'm going to put the deer on, and I'm going to put this on first before I glue it on, only because I think it will work. So I just want to have one in on the center of each one. I'm not putting lots of dimensionals on because I want the body and the legs to sort of be able to interlock. And I will show you that why. So that's my pumpkin pie. So I just need to make sure that they are in on the center and in on the middle. So we'll have the body in on the center like that, and then you've got the back legs sticking out. This one is going to be our rich raspberry. So again, we want our head in on the center like that, and the legs sticking out, and then the last one exactly the same. We'll have the head, and I find it easier to do that before it's actually on the card, because then it gives you have a little bit more of where you're going. And then I'm going to put this, I'm not going to put this on at the moment because I am going to cut this background down because the board is a little bit too big. But we wanted, what did we, every season brings its own wonder. So we need to put this one in first, because always do your middles before you do your backs, because if you do your middles first, it then allows you to space them either side. I've been caught out so many times by just turning round and not lining things up and ending up with it being one spaced one way and one the other. So that's going to go on there. I'm not going to put dimensionals on the bottom. You could do if you wanted to, but I just don't think it's sometimes, you know, less is more. But we need to line the bottom of this up, and we're going to tuck this leg, which is why I didn't want to have this bit glued down. We're going to tuck this leg in underneath, or is that going to go on top? That needs to go on top, I think. Let me have a look and see once I've lined it up. So I need to line this piece up with this piece, don't I, to make sure that they're nice and straight. So that goes on there. So that's my line straight there. I've got that one over the top, which means that this one's got to go underneath, yes. So we get the last one. Now again, if you find lining things up quite difficult, which I do sometimes it's a good idea to turn it round the other way so you can see exactly where you're going to line that up with that. and then you need to see, before we actually put it completely in position, I'm going to turn it round and see spacing from there, spacing from there. That's exactly as I want it. This piece is just going to go out a little bit, so I'm going to put that on there. And then we wanted this, and this is where we can actually do it before we've glued the other bit down. I want this little leg to go in underneath this one, and this one to come up over the top. So quite easily you can just flip it over. So again, you've got them running and the bottom is sort of joined in together. And I think that that makes a really lovely autumnal sort of card. Little bit different. As I said, I always try and bring things to you that are a little bit different. And you've got in on the centre, every season brings its own wonder. So I think it makes a pretty autumn card, something that's different, something that's not using leaves, but using some of the stamp sets that we've got. So we used the Peaceful Deer with this lovely deer. We used the Peaceful Deer. We used the Painted Poppy for the splodges and the background piece, and we then used the Welcoming Woods for the sentiment, every season brings its own wonder. And then the colours we used, this is me flicking that on there, was Cinnamon Cider, Pumpkin Pie, and Rich Raspberry as our focal in the centre and as our background. So thank you so much for watching me. As always, please stay safe and well, and please be kind. Look forward to seeing you soon. Bye-bye.